Welcome to Growing Bonsai. This is Jelle with a pine. And which pine? It's a Scots pine, Pinus sylvestris. And in fact, these are two bonsai. Yes, these are two bonsai. You can see that here I am doing something funny with the tree. This tree I got about 4.5 years ago, and at the time it was laying flat on its side with all the branches on the ground. First thing I did, I potted it up in this pot and then I let it grow for a year. The year after, so 3 years ago, I had a test at my bonsai school and I styled this tree. In fact, I only styled this component, but for the health of the tree, because I had to remove a big branch here, a big branch here and another big branch here, I left the side branch here as well and I decided to style it out. When I got home, I realized this tree has a very nice bark. So I decided I'm going to graft roots on it. And that's what you see here. This pot is holding 3 pine seedlings that I've grafted onto the main trunk. Today we're going to hopefully successfully separate this tree and that tree. One tree from the main root base going up, coming down, going back up, dropping down, and then you have a canopy here. The other tree going to have roots here on the base. As you can tell, maybe here it is horizontal, and then it comes up and with a big curve going back over here. That's the plan. Easier said than done? Maybe. The reason that I grafted roots, you cannot really air layer pines. Yes, you can, but it takes a long time and it is often not successful. Problem is, nobody could tell me whether I could graft roots on pine. However, I know that pines can be grafted because it's often done with Japanese black pine or Japanese white pine. They are often grafted with better varieties. So I decided to give it a go. I bought 3 small seedlings, put those in this pot, put the pot here on an elevation so the pot touches on the trunk. There is absolutely no wiggle here. This is actually going to pose a problem when I separate it later on. But the 3 seedlings, I then created small grooves in the main trunk of this tree. And I used these grooves to attach the seedlings. Basically, I removed the bark off the side of the seedlings and I slid them in the groove, attaching them with tension wires. So I put wires all the way around and I put a thicker piece of wire pushing the seedling in. That has been left alone for about 3 years now. The seedlings seemingly have not grown that much, which is right because I've not been fertilizing the seedlings heavily. I've just been watering, and once a year I've taken away the long shoots that came out because I don't want the seedlings to fatten up that much that they grow out of the groove. Now the first seedlings have a very clear sign that below the graft it is a lot thicker than above the graft, so I think that at least 1, probably 2 have taken. This one obviously has died. It does not mean the roots have died, but at least the above ground portion has died. In fall, I removed the bark here. I did that so that the tree would not push more nutrients into the main trunk. Hopefully the roots of the main trunk, therefore not sending all that much back into this part, therefore relying more on the seedlings. As said, it has been 3 years since I put them on. I don't want to wait any longer. I'm not going to wait another 3 years if it's unsuccessful, so I'm not going to try whether they've been successful. I'm just going to cut it off, plant it up, and then wait for the year and see whether the top part remains alive. Next to this, of course, I'm going to find a nice nanban pot for the main tree and plant it up. This is actually pretty much how I like it. The challenge will be to find the right angle because this is a nice feature where it really drops down dramatically and then we have the cascading branch coming down. But this branch looks really, really straight, whereas it is actually not straight. From this side, you have a very nice curvature in there, but then the whole tree is in the back. This might become the front, roughly, but we'll have to see what it looks like if this whole structure is gone. After cutting, of course, somebody will need to hold up this tree when the other one is cutting, and then we gently have to move this. There should be no pressure on the seedlings, and I have to gently try to remove the seedlings from the pot without breaking them off the branch. So I'm going to ask a friend to help me. I don't think he's going to be on camera except for his hands. And otherwise, I'll let him introduce himself. So, the deed is done. let's see how this develops. Repotting time. Let's get this out of the pot and into new substrate. Wow, all done. I'm very sorry, I didn't have a hand free to record anything. But we managed. As you can see, the two seedlings that are attached are still attached. It looked like they did roots and they did connect to the main trunk. So I didn't do anything to the root ball here. I just put it in this pot, filled it up with substrate, and of course connected the tree to the pot. So this is all set. It is going to go in probably in the greenhouse for the next week or two to stay nice and warm to aid in the rerouting. And let's just hope that in a month's time I can show nice little candles here pushing. This one is nice. Now, if we look at the other one. So the other one is now in a pot. It is not a nice pot. I actually had a nice nanban in mind, but the tree didn't fit. This is the root ball. It is sitting at the bottom of the pot. So it's going to be another 2 years and then I can reduce this hopefully a little bit further. We've added a little bit of sphagnum moss here on top of the roots and I'm going to work it in a little bit more to aid in the recovery. But yeah, this should have no problems whatsoever to recover from this ordeal because in fact all I did is cut a part off. Let's have a look. If I turn this around, can you see this? This is where that part was connected. Isn't it cool? I think it's cool. But this is of course not the front. This is the future front. What is going to happen is that I'm going to take off the bark here and make it a dead section here. But first I want this part to incorporate as much as possible from the live vein here. Then once this has started to die off, I can make a nice little yin out of it. But I'll leave this alone for a little bit. This one is going to go in the same spot as it was. Still early years, so it's not too warm. I'm going to keep it slightly moist, but not too wet. And let it recover. I am really annoyed. Not knowing why this didn't live. Probably the grafts didn't take, but I'm not sure. So I'm going to take it out of the pot, going to look at it, and then I'm also going to separate the two grafts and pot them up separately because they are still alive. But the top, really, it is all dead. It's not going to come back. Let's get this out of the pot. So, first graft. This has in fact merged here with the trunk. This is completely merged. Look at that. There's no problem here. This actually is part of the other one. Too bad. Now the other one, probably the same thing. This also seems to have fused. Yeah. Yeah, that had merged, but maybe I should have just left it longer. Such a shame. A little bit more patience. It's probably what kills most of my trees, impatience. So impatience killed it. Then again, I now have 2 young pine seedlings that try to separate these and plant them up properly individually. Look at these really nice healthy roots here. Of course, here also impatience might be my downfall, but then again, separating them is never going to be easy. So just gently tease out the roots apart. Some will break, but most of them will not, and this will really help the plant. Right, this one, who does it belong to? There we go. Ready to go into a pot and have some growing going. And the same with this one. Considering that these were actually growing quite healthily, I'm just going to backfill it with the original soil and be done with it. Would have made a nice bonsai. And the worst part of it is, it's probably my own impatience that made it die, because these had actually fused. Anyway, now I've got 2 young pines again. I'll let those grow in the corner, grow them out, wire them up a little bit. Who knows, might make nice little bonsai, but yeah. Impatience, probably the thing that is the cause of most of my problems. Why couldn't I just wait another year?